Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Well, I had planned on showing you the install of the other 4 pistons, but by the time I got out here and got going on the motor, I had some visitors and people stopping by and phone calls, and the owner showed up, and which is okay, that's fine, he's more welcome to be here. But I never fired the camera. So yeah, the pistons are all in, and I am now getting ready to wipe down the deck, get the head gasket out, and set the heads on it, spin the motor over by hand, and make sure the piston's clear. And make sure we don't go clunk, because he did get a pretty big dome, and I'm not sure what these heads were set up for. So, sorry about that. And yeah, you guys probably seen the pop there. Haven't had one in a few days, and I needed some energy today. I think, yeah. So, got most of the tools cleaned up and put back, and the little brass hammer, she sure took a beating, but I took the grinder to it and cleaned it up. We had a good chunk beat off that. Brass is soft. Well, that's why you use brass. You don't want to damage your steel parts. You use a little brass hammer. So I guess I'll unbake it. It kind of weird weather here today. It's warm. I got the fans going, and it's just kind of a dead air corner there today, and I turned on my big furnace, my old furnace fan, and then I got cold, and I shut that off, and now we're going to, like I said, test the heads, make sure the piston's clear, and make sure we're okay. So, alrighty. Yeah. There's the head gaskets. Make sure your deck is clean and everything. Free of grease. Make sure your gasket don't have a direction. I've never seen a gasket like that. With a split. These are the gaskets that were recommended for the head. Check that other one out now. Yep. First time I ever seen that. Alright. Guess it's not going to make a difference which head goes where. Okay. Let's look at these chambers. Oh yeah, these are pretty big chambered. Yes. Stay there. I gotta get some storage. He's got a pretty good chamber to him. So, and some good size valves. So, I'll wipe that down. Set that on. We're going to find out. Someone must have danced around on this one head. a lot nicer than the cast iron heads. And I'll stay there. Right here. I believe. Yeah. What's this? Yeah, you got a pretty fancy tiny board. I don't want to. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, maybe not uh-oh. Let's see. This one. Bring down. I guess I need a socket, don't I? Be right back. Want to have one bolt in here. Hold it. So when I turn it over, you can see if it locks up or. And actually what I'll probably do once I know, I'll probably get my Play-Doh out and put some Play-Doh in there. Amazing how much garbage I get from motor builds. We got a problem. Yes, we might have a problem here. Boys and girls. We got a problem. Not a good problem. It's too late to call on now. Yeah, I'll show you. This is not a good problem. See what the problem is? This stud is out by 1/8 inch, and it's too short. I knew it was going too smooth. That, what? If you look down this one, everything's in line. See, line same height, and line same height. Those are in line. That stud's too short. This stud here, that ain't gonna work. How do you not fix that right? Well, that's going to push the rocker arm off the, well, that wasn't what we were looking for. Okay, well, I guess let's take a look what the intake wants. This is what she's got. Let's see. Hopefully. There's that. Garbage, garbage, garbage. One stud there. Alright, well, here's what we're going for. There's an aluminum top end 454, but now we've got an issue with a stud. I like those valve covers. Intake's sitting on there good. So that's a good sign. You cannot put a rubber, well that's, well yeah, I get the intake gaskets in there, that'll get a little thicker, but always put silicone across those ends. That's what I do. Well, I guess can't, well, I'll get a wrench and spin it over, make sure we don't hit the heads. And we'll go from there. Kind of looks sweet, don't it? And yeah, I'd gladly stick that in the Camaro. But I'm sitting here, I'm just beside myself because you go to the machine shop, they're supposed to fix the problems, and like I said, now one head's good. And like I said, this one that I've got on the driver's side right now, I'll show you guys again. The stud is kicked out, and then you look in. Let's see if we can zoom in. No, don't focus on that bolt. Okay. See, that had to be repaired, and it's not sitting. Well, look at this. Oh, crap. It's not even in line with the valve. Look at how this one here, you line up. It's right there. Then you come to that one. It's not only, it's kicked off to the side and out. that's not going to work. And for what the money cost on these heads, and you know, this is what I ran into last year building motors. I didn't get paid for all the parts I put in the motors last year. People complained it took too long. Well, it wasn't me. It was the machine shop. And the people didn't understand. They mix new stuff with old stuff and old stuff with new stuff. And I changed the valve train geometry. And the one motor, the 327, that turned into a nightmare. Because the heads didn't get machined for the bigger cam like they were told, and I fired it up and bent 16 push rods. And we finally figured out it was the retainers bottoming out on the guides. So then they had to go back and get fixed. I mean, a lot of little problems have led up to me looking like I've had issues, but it was me waiting on the machine shop or having to rework. I got thinking on it. Every single motor or thing I've done, I've had to rework it. I have not been able to put a motor together without having problems to get it to the running on the engine stand, which is buried in the corner now. And I don't know what we're going to do now. Because that means the push rod won't even ride right in the guide, because big blocks have got the steel guides to guide the push rods to keep them in place. But that stud kicked off and forward like that, the push rod will wear and break in two. I mean, it's not going to work. And how do I go to the owner and tell them without having them get mad at me, because it wasn't my fault? I'm not the machinist. I'm just the assembler. And now I got to tell this guy, after he got this motor and it came back double what the quote was. He's got a ton of money into this thing. Now to find out the one head is screwed up. And the guides that were required for this set of heads were $15 a piece. So there's new guides in there, the valve job's done, but now I got a stud that is not in its place and it's not going to work. It's not. Running into this is about pushing me to the edge of finally just saying enough is enough. Time to cut my losses and just sell everything. But at the same time, I don't want to give up, because I know I can't go work a full-time job. And I mean, the bottom end turns over. So nice. He done great on this one. I mean, I didn't have to put the crank in this one 3 or 4 different times. It's gone in, the clearances are checking out. I mean, nothing is funky. Go to mock it up and then find the heads, because now I'm thinking, oh, I can wrap this motor up this week. Now is the owner going to end up going out and buying a new set of heads, when he should have just threw these away and forgot it? I mean, because now the heads have been surfaced. He goes buy a new one. It's going to be a little different, unless come out with a way of figuring out. I mean, oh, God. I tell you guys, I never, ever had this much trouble when my father-in-law used to be a machinist. I wish that guy would have never quit. I'd bring motors home, we'd build them. There's once that I had a problem with it, and I sat here and I measured everything. That's before I had all these micrometers and everything. And I sat there and measured, come up, and I kept coming up with the same numbers, and it kept coming up. The rods were too small. Because the motor spin over, and as soon as I put the first rod in, it locked. And he's like, oh, I resized those. I said, I know you resized them, but according to what the spec is and what this, the rod is too small yet. And he's got the pistons on them and all everything. I mean, it was ready to go in for the race car. He said, bring them up. Check them up. He checked them, and he started laughing. He goes, oops, sorry. He forgot to finish honing them, so he had to sit there with the pistons and that. He owned them and that, put the motor together. We got like 25 nights out of that motor. But, I mean, and he fixed it. He took care of it. And since I had the drive, it was an hour and 10-minute drive to where he was working at the time, he made it right with me. I mean, I don't know what to do. I really, really don't know what to do. We got a nice, hell of a nice looking motor there. And I guess I'm not going to talk to the guy tonight. I'm not going to talk to the owner first. I am going to get a hold of the machine shop and ask him. I'm just beside myself. I am. I can't walk into the bank and go get the money to get the machines and start doing the stuff in-house. I mean, actually, I think there might be a saving grace. The guy got 2 sets of these heads, the owner did, but I think they were 2 different valve configurations. So I just, oh mother. Stuff like this really makes it hard for me to sleep sometimes. And that's the thing, and I've had a guy tell me, they said, yep, the customer sees you and they just blame you for everything instead of understanding that you're not the machinist. You're just putting together somebody else's work that's supposed to have been done right. And it's been just a mess. A big freaking mess. And I really don't want to give it up. But at the same time, I'm getting really, really lost on what to do. So, I guess with that, we'll see what tomorrow brings. See what kind of crap news or how we're going to fix this one. And if anybody's wondering, let's see, where is it? These are... where was the... Somewhere on here is the info. Well, was the info. Oh, I know where it's at. I know where it's at. Just a second. We gotta sit down and let's see. Oh, here it is. Let's see, I'll give you a light. Okay. These are PC 3. Let's see. Well, anyway, PC 3021 heads 454. Looks like these might have been a 2013 04 one. Looks like January 4th of 2013 they were made. 0422. So yeah, PC 3021s is what these particular heads are. Turn off the light. Okay. So that's what those are. They're knockoffs from the real stuff, but for what this guy's going to do, they're more than enough if the studs were straight and correct. So, I guess I watch these reality shows and they say everything goes smooth, and I live in the real life and I'm like going, what the heck? You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? Stay tuned to see how this drama unfolds. Not again. Ugh.